episode 47 of Coffee and Co-Read, your source for all things literary, with Kristen
and Catherine, where we believe there's nothing better than hot coffee and an awesome book. Join us for our virtual book club where we take one book a month and dive into all the drama, adventure, and romance we can find. Hey, Kristen.
Hi, Catherine.
So, we've talked about tropes quite a lot in general over this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess we figured it'd be a good time to talk about what our favorite tropes are in books. So, Kristen, what are your favorite tropes?
So, I feel like I have really bad taste in tropes. Like, I feel like my taste in tropes is really trashy.
Fine.
If that makes sense. So, like, I really like an enemies to lovers sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Or like a reluctant sort of like shoved together, don't really want to, but are sort of just have to.
Yeah.
Or like a mates trope.
Yeah.
With like vampires or werewolves or something like that. I don't know why, because I understand it's problematic. I understand there are consent issues, and I know that it's trashy, but I can't help it. I just love it. I love when like they don't like each other, but they're mates and they're just like drawn to each other sexually and they can't stop it. And then they realize that the other person is actually a good person. And then they're like, oh, I'm actually happy now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's like, I get what you're saying. A lot of my tropes are the exact same, but I get what you're saying. It's very Hallmark movie is the PG version of it. But like something happens that they hate each other in the beginning and it's so dumb. And it's just like, if they had a simple conversation, it'd be fine. But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I love it. Mm-hmm. I'm not against the love triangle. I'm here for a bit of love triangle. I also, and this sounds like really trashy and bad, like the torn between two brothers, like who am I gonna pick? Or maybe I'll pick both of them. Like I've read quite a few like that.
Yeah.
And another one is really bad, but like the billionaire like picks a girl from obscurity and like showers her with everything because she's just so like enigmatic and like he doesn't know what it is, but she's different from other girls. And like saying it, I hate myself. Like I truly hate myself saying it, but like I like it. I can't help it. I read it and I'm like, oh my god, I get all like, ooh, and I can't help it. So like I'm a little bit like, oh my god, I'm saying this out loud and everyone's hearing how trashy my like my preferences are. But at the same time, like I'm not going to apologize for it. So like I don't know why I love all of these like weird ass tropes, but I really do.
But like it's not like you're the only one. There's a lot of books that follow those tropes. So obviously somebody is consuming them other than just you.
Nope, just me.
Yeah.
It's just me. If anybody is listening and also likes any of those tropes, can you just like touch base with me so that I know I'm not alone, please?
I'm actually reading a book now. Well, it's a reverse harem, but it has the brothers type thing in it.
I love it. Remember, like a couple months ago, I told you I was reading one and it was about dragon brothers.
Yes.
And I loved it. And now I'm reading one called The Millennium Wolves. It's on like an app. And it's like a reluctant mates sort of a trope, but it's really reluctant. Like she is like, no way in hell. Like, I don't want you. And he's like, I've marked you. You're mine. And she's like, no, I refuse. And he's like, you don't have a choice. And again, it's
problematic.
It's so problematic, but I can't help it.
No, I get it. I just finished reading The Never King, which is like a Peter Pan type of retelling, but it's reverse harem and there's 2 brothers in it, and it's a really fast read and it's on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm reading the second book now, but I think you'd probably like that. I also think, and this one's not romance at all, but I do think that you should read the Crave series, and I've told you that before.
You have.
It is kind of Twilighty in the first book, but then after that it gets good. I actually haven't read the most recent book yet, though.
But if there's no romance, what's the point? You're just
I like
shrugging your shoulders.
I like books that don't have romance as well. I love I'm so all over the place. Like, I love a good book if it has a really good story, but then other times I'm like, just trashy sex only. That's all I want to read. Like, which is kind of what The Never King is. So
love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of my tropes are similar to yours anyway, but like I very much like the whole reluctant lovers type trope. So like the enemies to lovers, or like fake relationships where there's like a marriage of convenience, like where 2 people are just forced together and don't want to be.
Yeah.
And like the whole like villain gets the girl is one of my big favorites now. But I hate when like villain gets the girl and then secretly he's just a good guy all along. No, I want him to be a fucking villain and stay a villain. Like,
you want him to be a straight up asshole. Like, you want Severus Snape. You want Severus Snape and Lily Potter to be together.
I do not.
Voldemort and Lily Potter.
Sure. I take that. I fucking hate Snape and his fuckboy mentality that because a girl was his friend, he deserved to be with her. I cannot get past that. And like that's a whole other rant. I just can't get into it.
He did not get redeemed for me. Like, no. People who thought he was redeemed, he did not get redeemed. He was still a dickhead.
Yeah. Like, you don't need to be an asshole to an orphaned fucking child because his mother picked someone other than you. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, this is a rant that I don't think I can get into it completely right now because it would just take up the entire time. Welcome to my TED Talk. I fucking hate Severus Snape. No.
I feel like you're in the majority there, though.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, when they first read it, do end up liking him in the end because he was good all along. See, that's the issue, though. That's the issue. If he was just an asshole, he was a bad guy the whole book, maybe I would have liked him. No, I was too young then. I wasn't in this phase of I need the villain to get the girl. So yeah. But then I also like all the stupid tropes within those of like the one bed trope and the like stuck together, whether it be like they have to stay in a house together or they get stuck in an elevator together, like all that shit. Here for it. Like, and then like the heated arguments that just turn into sex. Yeah. So
forgive me, madam, for taking up so much of your time.
Oh, so good. They should just kiss.
That's from Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version, in case anybody needs to know. And it is amazing, and it's really heated, and they get really, really close to kissing, even though she just turned him down and like hates his guts. But like the chemistry is undeniable.
Oh, the chemistry between them in that movie is just
they did a great job.
Oh my God.
It's Matthew McFadden and Keira Knightley. They did an amazing job together.
100%. Yeah. Big fan. And I know like we've talked about books to movies before, and I think we said like Lord of the Rings is like key highest up there. But I think this one is also there too. Like, I don't know
for how much they had to cut out to make it into like a 2-hour movie. Yeah. They did a great job.
Agreed. Yeah. Anyway, just a heads up, we're not a spoiler-free zone and things might get saucy.
Definitely in this episode.
Ooh.
The sauce is on like it is on boil. Yep.
Oh,
It is. Yeah, the sauce is on
foolish.
boil. This week we are reading chapters 13 to 19. And last week we finished off with Persephone and Hades sort of I call it like an uneasy agreement sort of a thing, because like they've both sort of agreed like, hey, I'm not going to leave when I'm angry at you. You're not going to send me away when you're angry at me. We'll stay and like talk it out sort of a
Yeah.
thing. So they had this like uneasy agreement, and then all of a sudden Persephone wakes up the next morning to find that Adonis has stolen her article about Hades that she really hadn't perfected and had it written the way she wanted it to, and it was sort of like her inner thoughts and her inner anger as opposed to what she actually wanted published. But he went ahead and took it and published it, and now everybody, including her mother, Hades, like everybody has seen it. Nobody is happy with her right now. So she's going out to get drunk with Lexa because that is what they do because they're 22.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
No.
I'm not actually feeling 22, like hard pass.
No. We got that last episode when you were like, why is she so obsessed with the club? We were like, oh, yes.
Oh, yes, right. That's what happens.
Yeah. I wonder what the drinking age is in this world.
I feel like it would be whatever it is in Greece.
Oh, true. 18. In Greece, there's no minimum age for consumption of alcohol, but you must be 18 or over to buy it. However, it's unusual to be asked for IDs in bars, cafes, or supermarkets where you can just buy any type of alcohol.
Oh.
Interesting.
That sounds nice.
There's no official legal drinking age in Greece if you are drinking in private.
Oh.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I'm sure there are some people who are listening who don't drink at all.
Mm-hmm.
Or who are like good people and wait until the legal limit in their wherever they live.
Yeah.
We were not those people. Like, I don't know what I know what our legal age is here. It's 19. I don't know if we have similar rules, like being allowed to drink privately.
No.
Like, I don't think we have that rule. But
absolutely not. Because you can, if you were caught buying alcohol for a minor, you can be fined or charged.
Okay. Anyway, like, I know for a fact I had alcohol before I was 19.
100%. Yeah.
So, like, maybe I should have been Greek.
Yeah. And I just think it has the capacity to give a person a better relationship with alcohol if it's not forbidden. So, like, I don't know how my relationship with alcohol would be if I lived in a place like that. Like, it'd probably be similar, to be honest, to what it is now. But I feel like it could be better for some people if it's because, like, a lot of people, especially if they do wait for the drinking age, just go fucking crazy once they hit it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But then you also run into the issue where we live is that you've got kids in junior high and high school. So, like, I know for a fact that I have students in grade 8 and grade 9. Those are what I have. I know for a fact there are some of them that go out on the weekends and party and, like, drink.
Yeah.
So, like, having it be forbidden here and not allowed, like, I feel like you just end up with kids in unsafe spaces, right? Because they feel like they have to hide it. I remember being in high school and going to, like, parties out in fields in the woods, and then people would be tanked, like, absolutely shit-faced drunk, and like everybody was so shit-faced, like, it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
Like, people would need their stomach pumped, and, like, but everybody would be too afraid to call, like, cops or call hospital to be like, hey, this person is, like, not well, because they didn't want to get caught.
Yeah.
So, like, way to go, Greece.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's, like, the European countries, like, there's probably similar rules in a lot of them.
I think France has like you can drink wine or beer as soon as you're 15 or 16, but then liquor I think is older.
Mm.
um but it just, I think, I do think it could give someone a better relationship, but it also obviously can do the opposite. Like if you're
Yeah.
drinking from a young age, then it could absolutely make it so that you have issues with it as well. So like I don't know what the best way to do it is, but
Yeah.
I feel like having it completely forbidden makes it so that people want it more.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good tangent.
So we pick up this week. They're in the cab, Lexa and Persephone, and they're going to La Rose. And they're sort of talking about what Persephone can write about for her next article that she has to write about Hades. And Lexa suggests she write about his love life. And Persephone's like, no, I don't want to write about that. Because, like, I feel like it's because she doesn't want to dive into his romantic history.
Mm-hmm.
And she does say, like, she does tell Lexa that she thinks Hades is sleeping with his assistant, aka Minthy.
Mm-hmm.
And Persephone says, like, I don't want to write like a gossip column about Hades. I want what I'm writing to change the world. And Lexa just sort of reminds her and it's like, dude, the article you just came out with didn't change the world at all. All it did was confirm what everybody already thought about Hades. So she was like, if you want to actually change the world, you need to write about the other side of Hades, the side that nobody knows, and the side that makes you blush.
I just don't understand why she's not telling anybody what actually happened. Like, this is her best friend. Their relationship's just weird. I don't understand it. But, like, why isn't she telling anybody at all that Adonis put out her article without her knowledge?
So this is the thing, too, right? Because, like, as of right now, Lexa and Adonis have been talking, have been hanging out. Like, so, like, Persephone sees this side to Adonis that, like, she has not said a word about to Lexa. And I feel like if that was your best friend, wouldn't you, like, if I saw you with a guy that I knew for a fact was a dick, wouldn't you want me to tell you?
I would hope so.
Well, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would certainly want to know if he's been a dick to my best friend.
Yeah.
If he was somebody that I was trying to hook up with.
Their whole friendship is odd.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see, and actually she makes a comment a little bit later in the book on this is why Lexa's my best friend. And I'm sort of like, really? That's why? So, like, I think best friend is a little bit, I feel like it's a light term here.
Yeah. I feel like maybe it's like just a convenient friendship and roommate situation. Like, they don't seem like they actually talk to each other about shit. But I guess they're also young too, so like, and Persephone's never had anybody that she can really talk to, so why would she trust somebody?
Yeah, that's true. And she has a lot of secrets that she feels like she has to keep, so
yeah,
it could be what's partially preventing her from, like, getting close.
Yeah. Because, like, I can't imagine having a best friend and not telling them that you're actually a god.
Am I?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so Lexa sort of asks, like, because Persephone is like, oh, I don't really want to talk about this anymore. And Lexa's like, why is it so hard for you to admit that you think he's handsome and you're attracted to him and that you want to, like, get with him and get to know him? But, like, Persephone's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I like, and, like, insistent, like, Lexa, I said I don't want to talk about it. And, like, sort of snaps at her. So, again, we're seeing this little, like, tiff between them because Persephone isn't being open and honest with her, and I'm saying quote unquote bestie.
Yeah.
So they get to La Rose, and Persephone's sort of like, how on earth are you going to get us in? And guess who's there? It's Adonis!
Of course.
So he is the one getting them in. And it turns out that Lexa invited him because he wanted to celebrate Persephone's article, which is just a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
She already like called him out on him being a coward and him being an asshole, essentially. And now he's like, oh, I want to come celebrate with you. Like, apparently he reached out to Lexa.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't her being like, hey, can you get us into this club? It was him calling her and being like, hey, why don't we celebrate Persephone's article? I can get us into La Rose.
Yeah.
So, like, I just feel like Lexa needs to open her fucking eyes. But Adonis admits that he has a suite, like a VIP suite, in the club. And he wants to escort them inside. So, like, he offers Lexa his arm and she takes it. And then he offers his other one to Persephone and she just doesn't. And I love it. But I'm also like, good for you. But, like, also, dude, why would you offer? Like, I just feel like he's deliberately being a dick.
Yes.
Like, and I know that, like, he's always deliberately being a dick, but it seems like he's trying to shove his dickishness in her face now.
Yeah. Shove his dick in her face.
So they skip the line, and I guess Lexa ends up, like, moving ahead or something like that because Adonis and Persephone have a little chat, like, one-on-one. And he's being a dick, of course. And she's like, you must be really lucky because you're on the VIP list at 2 different gods clubs. So, like, you must be lucky. And he's like, yeah, I'm super lucky because I set your career in motion.
Ugh.
Like, he's taking credit. The only thing he did was take her article and get it published sooner. Like, she was going to publish it.
Yeah.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
And I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't think anybody is supposed to like him, but, like, I just want to straight up smack him in the mouth.
Agreed.
So, all of a sudden, Sybil, Arrow, and Xerxes show up, and they're all, like, hanging out in Adonis' suite. So I guess they're his friends, although they don't seem like they really like him either.
Yeah.
And Sybil sort of hints that, like, Adonis, like, you obviously have a god's favor because how else is he a VIP at 2 gods clubs? And to have a god's favor, I think it automatically means that you're fucking that god.
Yeah, that seems to be, like, what they all take from it.
Yeah. So he then tries to put it back on Sybil and being like, well, you have Apollo's favor, so you're therefore fucking him. And she's like, at least I'm not trying to hide, like, my favor. Because he's saying, oh, no, I don't have anyone's favor. Like, he's flat out denying he has a god's favor.
Yeah.
But she's like, I don't deny that I have Apollo's favor.
Yeah.
So, like, she's essentially admitting that she's fucking Apollo. Yeah. But he's, like, not saying anything about who his god or goddess is. So Persephone sort of, like, wants to get Lexa out of this situation because obviously hearing that the dude that you want to be with most likely is fucking a god, I feel like it probably throws a little bit of cold water on the situation.
Yeah. Maybe
a little bit. So she's sort of like, oh, let's go dance. And then she's like, are you okay? Like, this whole Adonis thing. And Lex is like, yeah, I'm okay. And, like, she really is okay.
Yeah.
Like, she is full on okay. We'll discuss why a little later. And then all of a sudden a waitress comes. I feel like I say all of a sudden a lot.
I didn't really notice.
Anyway, a waitress comes over with a tray of, like, pink martinis, I'm going to call them. That's what I picture. Yeah. And gives it to them and says, oh, this drink is on the house. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, terrible decision.
Yep.
You never take a drink without seeing it made.
Yeah.
Ever.
Especially from some random person that's like,
A waitress? Like, that could have been anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Could have been a rando stole a tray.
Exactly. Wild.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
So they drink it. And it's definitely spiked because Persephone's all like, she became one with the music and she doesn't even recognize time passing. And then all of a sudden she gets dizzy and her mouth is dry and she's lost Lexa. She doesn't know where she is. And she's like, oh my God. So then she like tries to leave the dance floor and Sybil sees her and is like, you look toasted. Like, how much have you had to drink?
Toasted.
And Persephone's like, oh, you're ridiculous. I need to find Lexa. So she essentially just like pushes her out of the way. And all I can think of is like somebody putting your hand on their face and being like, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then she's like looking around for Lexa and Adonis appears. I know. And she doesn't want to talk to him, obviously, because she's mad at him. And instead, he's like, okay, let's not talk. And he like puts his hands on her hips and then he sexually assaults her.
Yay.
That's great. Who doesn't love a little sexual assault in the middle of a book?
So we assume that he drugged them, right? Or
yeah. Well, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Also, maybe it comes up and I'm just not there yet, but was Lexa drugged too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because we learn later that
she met someone.
She meets someone else.
Yeah, and I was like, was she drugged?
I don't think she was drugged.
Yeah. Okay, well that's good, I guess.
But like what I don't understand is like how they made sure that Persephone got the drug to drink.
Yes.
Or was it just a toss up? Like, yeah, whichever one gets the drug, I'm good to go for either or.
Yeah. I don't know either. But like I feel like they never have a conversation about it. Like Persephone's not like, hey, Adonis fucking drugged me.
Yep.
Also, why didn't Hades kill him? Also, she was fucking drugged. That's illegal.
Yeah. No, it's real bad. Like, and it is very glossed over. And like, she has no like secondary, like, oh my God, I was drugged and violated. Like, she has no issues with this whatsoever.
And like, she's never kissed anybody before.
Nope.
And well, this is like
apart from
Hades. From Hades. Yes. I just mean like other than Hades, this is like it's just very, very, very bad.
It is very bad. And it is very glossed over.
Yes. It's well, I haven't finished the book, but I feel like it is glossed over from what I've read.
Yeah. Anyway, so he kisses her against her will. Like, she's pushing at him, telling him to stop. He obviously ignores her wishes and kisses her. It doesn't last for very long, though. And, like, this is going to sound gross, but it's not one of those, like, sloppy, wet kisses because she, like, keeps her mouth, like, firmly closed. So he can't actually, like, it's just a dry lip on dry lip. Yeah. Which, like, not saying that makes it okay. It doesn't. But at least, like, there's no tongue action.
Yeah.
So, almost immediately, two ogres pull Adonis off Persephone, and she looks, and Hades is there. And, like, she immediately runs for him, essentially, and, like, just hugs him and, like, latches herself to him.
Yeah.
Which I actually really liked. Like, I'm like, yes, her safe place. Like, she feels safe now. And, like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I agree.
So they leave, and Hades is and she's sort of like, oh my God, but what about, like, everybody saw this happen? And he was like, don't worry, I'll make sure nobody remembers. And he says that his staff, because initially she's like, no, I have to find Lexa. And he's like, don't worry, my staff will find her, make sure she gets home okay. And so she actually, like, is okay with that. she actually sort of said that normally she wouldn't be okay with that. Like normally she would protest and want to find Lexa herself, but she's just, her headspace is so out of whack, and like she can't think straight, she's dizzy, she doesn't feel well, and then that whole event with Adonis, she's just like, she just is like, I need to leave. So they get into the car, and obviously it's a driven car, so they're both sitting in the back, and Persephone sort of asks, like, Hades, what are you doing here? Like, why are you here? And I just want to know, like, how he even knew she was going to be there. Like, she didn't tell him.
He's tracking her phone, too.
Oh, God. We have another mother situation.
Yep. One controlling person to another.
Yeah, it's true, though. It does seem that way. And, like, I sort of, not saying I get it in a good way. I'm saying, like, I completely understand why she's going from one controlling person to another. It's like, it's just what you're, you know,
what she knows.
Yeah. So he says that he's there because he knew she wouldn't listen to his quote unquote orders. And I find this problematic for more than one reason. One, he can't order her around. Primarily the reason.
She's a grown-ass woman.
She is a grown-ass woman. And his orders were, like, the orders we're referring to are the ones where she has to stay away from Adonis. But two, she didn't know he would be there. Lexa didn't tell her.
True, yeah.
So, like, this is not her fault. She's not actively going against his quote-unquote orders and like, hey, Adonis, let's go clubbing together. That's not what happened. No. Lexa sort of blindsided her, and then she sort of felt like she had to go along with it. And then realistically, she didn't hang out with Adonis that long.
No.
And she wasn't friendly to him at all.
No.
So, like, I don't think Hades is being fair here.
No, I completely agree.
So she sort of says, she reminds him, like, I don't belong to you. And he's sort of like, oh, but you do. Like, I've marked you, remember? Like, you're wearing my mark. That means you are mine. And I'm just, it's just real bad. Like, you can't own a person. That's illegal. That's slavery. But it's like, you can't own a person.
Yeah.
That's not how life works.
I know. But again, I'm like, he's a god. He can own people.
Anyway. So after he says, like, oh, but you are mine. Like, my mark is on your wrist. And she's like, well, how about I mark you and then you're mine? And I'm secretly like, listen, if you own each other, then it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, if it's equal, you both own each other, I'm okay with it. One of them owning the other, I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
So, like, she's still, like, a little bit loopy on her spiked drink. So she, like, climbs on top of him in the car, which is super hot. And they make out. And and, like, he's, like, touching her thighs and, like, pressing really hard. And, like, you know she's going to be bruised there. But it's hot. And it's like, oh, he's having such a hard time controlling himself. And she sort of tells him, like, I'm gonna make you worship me, and I won't I won't even have to try. Like, you're just gonna worship me. And he sort of, like, doesn't like that. Like, not that he doesn't like it, but he's like, yeah, like, keep dreaming. And he, like, lifts her off of him, and then she falls asleep on him. So, like, I'm sure she got him really in the mood and then just, like, fell asleep.
Yeah. Which, like, I kind of appreciate that he doesn't take it any further because she is drugged.
Yes. Yeah. Not good.
Yeah.
So he has a sense of propriety, at least. So she wakes up, and she is in Hades' bed, and she is fully naked. And he's like sitting over he's like staring, watching her sleep. We've got like an Edward Cullen moment.
Yeah, there's a worse Edward Cullen moment later, but
yeah.
So full on Edward Cullen.
Yeah. So she sort of asked, like, I'm naked. Did we have sex? Or like, what happened? And he was like, no, we did not. He was like, but she was like, well, then why am I naked? And he was like, you were determined to seduce me and have sex with me. So you insisted on being naked. But he's also like real pissed because he knows she was drugged at La Rose.
Yeah.
And they sort of like, I don't know how they confirm it. They sort of assume that it was Adonis, which is what we said earlier. Yeah. And she asks, like, because he's pissed. And she was like, what did you do to him? And he sort of admits, well, he's still alive because he was in his goddess's territory. Mm-hmm. So that sort of, we get that tidbit that, oh, looks like the god that bestowed his favor is Aphrodite. So he's fucking Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Lovely. And I mean, I will say, good for him. He's pulling like the goddess of love. So
yeah, really though.
She's annoyed that at this point because she wished that Hades would have told her that Adonis was a jackass instead of just saying stay away. Like instead of just saying, hey, you should stay away from that guy, but saying like why?
Ugh.
She should stay away. And I sort of get it. Like her and Hades haven't known each other that long. Like I would, if someone said to me, hey, you should stay away from that person, I'd sort of want to know why.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's something that Hades doesn't want to divulge the actual reason on, or like, I don't know. I feel like there's more to it. I don't know if there is. I haven't read anything about it, but I feel like there's something that happened there. But
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like she never thinks about the fact that he can see into people's souls. I'm like, that would be something that I'd care about, like his opinion on people, because he knows.
Yeah, but she says that like, and we'll get into it now, because like, and I wrote the same point in my notes that you're making. Like, he can see how awful human souls are. Mm-hmm. Like, so like, did she just forget about that? But he's saying like, I just wish you trusted me and trusted my power when I told you to stay away from him. Yeah. But she just thought he was jealous. So like, I can see that being conflicting for her. Like, how does she know that he's telling her to stay away because it's his power, or like or is it just because he doesn't want her around another dude? Mm-hmm. So like, I can see why she would have thought that it was jealousy, like instead of being like, oh right, he can see into people's souls, Adonis must be a terrible human. Like, I feel like she could have figured that out for herself anyway.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, just they need to communicate.
Yes.
Essentially is what's happening here.
Yes, they do.
So she reminds him that like, she was like, I thought you were jealous. Like, remember, like, Adonis kissed me. Like, did you forget about that? And Hades like said, you keep bringing that up and I'm going to turn Adonis to ash because he touched you after you said no. He said, I have sent souls to Tartarus for less than that. So like, he really, and she's like, so dude, you are jealous. Like, you know, it's like wires are crossing. Like, there's multiple reasons why A, Adonis is an asshole, and B, like, there are multiple reasons why Hades wanted her to stay away.
Yeah. I just kind of feel like that isn't necessarily just jealousy though. Like, he was like, you said no. Like, I feel like it's a consent thing, obviously. It's sexual assault. I feel like Hades is very upset about that too.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not just that he's jealous, which I do think he is jealous. I don't know if jealousy is the right word. I think he's mad that somebody else touched his woman.
Without her consent.
Yes. But I think also he'd be mad if she went and made out with somebody else too. But I think that's kind of unrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they sort of have a tender moment here because she sort of says she's sorry, like she apologizes. And I think in my mind, she was apologizing for like not trusting his power and like hanging out with him. But then like Hades is sort of like, do not apologize for him. Like that was not your fault. So like, I will also say that I find Hades very like, he's like the polar opposite of himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's jealous and controlling, and then at the same time, he cares so much about choice, and like he's kind and like understanding.
Yeah.
I don't really know how those two sides live in his brain.
Yeah. I feel the same. I feel like this is a situation where like he's the villain, but he's actually a good person.
Yeah.
Which I know is like, that's a huge thing with Hades anyway, so I can't really be as mad about it as I am with some other villain stories.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, so like they have this tender moment where she says sorry and he's like, never apologize for him, like it's not your fault. And like they're sort of really close together, and then all of a sudden Hades reminds her of the article that she wrote by quoting something she said about him. And it was like a scathing report on his character, so that obviously like upset him. And he sort of admits that like she must hate him, but she was like, I don't hate you, I was just angry. And I wrote it. And like again, I don't understand why she didn't tell him at this point. Like Adonis stole my article and submitted it. That's not what I wanted to write.
Yeah.
But she
doesn't want to tell anybody. She doesn't tell a single fucking person.
She keeps it secret.
Yeah.
So she then tells him that her boss asked her to write a series on him, and he's like, no, thank you. And she's like, well, too bad, I'm doing it anyway. And she's like, I'm gonna do it unless you let me out of my bargain. And he's like, no, you are in this contract, I cannot break it, you are mine. And she tells him, she's like, listen, if I fail and you make me a prisoner here, I will hate you forever. And he's like, well, you already do. So like, she really needs to clarify to him. And I know she just said that she doesn't hate him, but she was angry. But like, I feel like she really needs to clarify, no, dude, I don't hate you.
Yeah. She also could just say, this isn't the article I wanted published. I apologize.
Yeah. And she never apologizes, ever, for saying those things. So then he kisses her like really, really roughly. And he sort of says like, I'm gonna erase the memory of Adonis like from your skin. He doesn't say his name, but like, I'm erasing the memory of him from your skin. And like, yeah, good, go for it. But like, you literally just said that she hates you, and now you're gonna kiss her. She had wrapped, like she had gotten up to talk to him, and because she was naked, she had wrapped like one of his bed sheets around her. So he ripped it away, and he like lifts her up, and like they're making out, and she's got her legs wrapped around his waist, and she's completely naked, and he is completely clothed. And like, she's a virgin. Yeah. Wouldn't you expect a virgin to be a little bit more like shy about being completely naked around somebody completely clothed?
Yes, I would be a bit shy being completely naked around somebody who's completely clothed, who is not my partner.
Yeah. And like, when you first start into that sort of relationship with someone, like, you know how you like, you're modest and you like turn off the lights and like
you are drunk the first time you have sex.
But yeah, so like, she is like ready to go. She is all for it. So, like, she's got her legs wrapped around him, and then he pushes her up against a bedpost, and they're, like, really making out, and it's really, really hot. And I'm like, yes. We're, like, it's like, yes, let's do this. Like, go ahead, have sex. I, like, do it. She's not drunk anymore. You can.
Yeah.
And, like, so they end up on the bed, and, like, she can, like, feel his erection through his pants, and she's, like, ready for him to, like, fill her.
Take some clothes off.
She desperately wants him to fill her.
You're just making me, like, you're just trying to make me hate this book, I think.
And anyway, and she says that, like, she's ready to give him whatever he wants, and she's ready to submit. And, like, he sort of gets off of her, and, like, he's staring at her, and he's all ruffled, and he's breathless. And she sort of describes them as, like, mindless together. And I love it. Like, I remember, like, feeling that way. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you remember feeling like that, and it's, like, so good.
Yeah.
So then she sort of expects him to, like, come back and, like, close the distance. But instead,
like we expect too.
Yes, we're all expecting him to, like, yes, and, like, leap. But instead he sort of smirks, which would piss me right off.
Oh my God, I would lose my shit.
I would also, yeah. And he tells her that while she might enjoy fucking him, she definitely doesn't like him. I actually find that quite healthy for him to not, like, he knew he could have taken her at that moment, but he didn't want to screw her knowing she had a bad opinion of him.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite healthy.
Agreed.
Like, good for him. So he leaves and, like, leaves her all hot and bothered. So, like, I don't know what happens. So she gets dressed, and she says that she's, like, really confused about all the different aspects of his character. And I feel like she just spends this whole book confused. And then she gets angry because she's like, this is all a game to him. Like, in 4 months or 3 months or however many months I have left, she's like, I need to try and grow this thing. And he's, like, just toying with me, essentially. And sort of insinuating that he is not emotionally invested the same way she is. So, not a lie. But, like, if anything, it seems like he's more emotionally invested than she is, right?
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel.
So, like, I don't know. And I guess maybe it's different for her because she's in it, so she doesn't see him doing things. She doesn't see the reason for his actions the same way we do. But, like, I feel like she's being very short-sighted.
Yeah. Which I think is a thing that she often does.
Yes. So she goes to check on her garden, and then she walks through Hades, like, magic gardens that he has surrounding the palace. And we learn here that she actually loves flowers. So, like, it's not something that she ever has admitted before, and it's really not something that we see again about how much she loves flowers. But she's sort of mad that his magic can create something so beautiful when she has never known what that feels like. She has no idea what that magic must feel like. I feel bad for her a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, she must feel completely useless. But, like, this is sort of why she's so attached to her mortal life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because, like, I don't know. I feel like this is the one time in her life that she has felt useful. Like, she's just always been useless. And this is the time for her to actually be useful. So, writing these articles and, like, having a job, it's how she's been, like, made herself a life. So,
yeah,
I see why she's so attached to it.
Yeah.
So she feels like she needs help. So she goes to Hecate's cabin. How does she know where Hecate lives?
I guess she's figured it out somewhere along the road here.
Yeah, must have. And she goes into the cabin and she is introduced to Gale the polecat. And Hecate says she what used to be a witch, but she turned her into a polecat for funsies.
Yeah.
I don't know what a polecat is. I picture like a big ferret.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if that's accurate, but that's what I picture. So Persephone is sort of like, oh, okay, cool. And then says, like, then she just sort of spills her entire life story to Hecate, like from the magic to the bargain, like everything.
Yeah.
So, like, Hecate is her new ride or die in my mind. And Hecate so remember the first episode you said that, like, your first thought was for her to make a baby?
Yeah.
Well, in this scene, Hecate says, there's more than one way to make life. You can have a baby.
Yeah.
And then she was like, but Hades would have to be the father because I don't think he would support you making life down here with anyone else.
Which is probably true.
Yeah. And she's like, whoa, I'm not ready to make a baby, especially not with Hades. And Hecate also says, like, that Hades isn't challenging people to do the impossible when he makes these bargains. She's like, he's challenging them to live up to their potential. And I'm like, that's valid. But, like, I don't know. I feel like he just there needs to be more communication.
Yeah.
And Hecate also reminds Persephone that even though the underworld has dead people in it, it is still like a place of rebirth. Because people get like not a new lease on life because they're dead, but like they get a new form of existence. So she also says that like Persephone is challenging Hades to help mortals lead better lives, like in the upper world. So she says, Hades is just challenging you to do the same thing in the underworld. And I actually really like that. I actually really enjoy Hecate.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I think she is very insightful. I think she is a great helper. I think she is like a great secondary character. I'm here for Hecate.
Same.
Anyway, so Persephone spends the next few days working, going to school. Like, people still haven't stopped talking to her about the article. And, like, they keep on asking her when the next one's going to be out and all this stuff. And she's at work one day and her boss calls her in and says, your article is the most popular article we've ever had. And he was like, so I'm giving you something. And he gives her 2 tickets to the Olympian Gala that's happening this weekend, saying, like, I've been so many times and I have another obligation that night. And so apparently the Olympian Gala is the biggest event of the year. I feel like it's sort of like the Met Gala.
Yeah.
A little bit. So it's a fashion show party and there's a theme and all the funds from ticket sales go to a charity. And each year, a different god or goddess gets to, I say, host the gala and pick the charity. She doesn't want to go because she's afraid that her mother would be there and would blow her cover.
Which I think is smart.
Yes.
To not go because her mother will be there. Her mother is a goddess.
Yeah. But like, I get really not upset, but like Lexa has seen Demeter. Like, she has seen her in her glamour, but like Persephone has already said that her mom, when wearing her glamour, likes to, like, it's not a very big glamour.
No.
Like, she still looks like a goddess when she has a glamour on. So, like, Lexa has met her mother. We learned that in the first week.
Yeah.
Because she went to their apartment and Lexa let her into her room without Persephone's consent. So, like, how is it that Lexa does not recognize Demeter as Demeter?
Yeah. But it's the same with, like, the people she works with. Like, is it Valerie? I can't remember her name.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she met her, too, and she was like, oh, my God, your mother's so beautiful. And it's like, how do you not connect the two?
Yeah. But, like, I'll be honest, I see it little, but like, so spoiler alert, her, like, obviously the story, it's not bringing up the Olympian Gala for nothing. So Persephone and Lexa end up going to the gala, and like, they see all the gods there. So they see Demeter there. How does she not be like, hey, isn't that your mom?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. She has a mask on.
Fuck. Anyway, so I feel like this is an inconsistency that needs to be resolved.
Yeah. Maybe part of the glamour is that the person doesn't think that she's Demeter when they look at her. They're like, oh, she's beautiful. And they see her looking beautiful. And then they forget that she looks like that.
You're pulling this out of your ass.
Obviously. What else am I supposed to do?
Anyway, so she looks at the tickets, and the theme of the year is Underworld. And Hades is the god picking the charity this year. What a coincidence! So now, all of a sudden, she really wants to go.
Of course.
But she doesn't even have a dress. But of course, it's not going to matter because she's going to end up hauling one out of her ass, and she's going to be the most beautiful girl there.
It's true.
So all of a sudden, Minty shows up at her office. And like, she's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I want to complain about the article that you wrote, and you're damaging Hades' reputation. Meh. And I will say, I'm not gonna lie, Minty makes an amazing point here. Because she says, you think you know Hades, but like, I've known him for hundreds of years. You've known him for a month or two.
Yeah.
And like, yes. Like, it's true. Persephone does. She's like, oh, you're just a mean god, and you don't actually care about people, and you're making all these bargains just so you can get more souls. Meh. But like, you don't know him. Like, you know that y'all don't know me?
Yeah.
She don't know him?
No, not at all.
So, anyway, so she also said, like, you're encouraging him to, like, touch you and get attached to you. And Persephone's like, no. And she's like, listen, I know Hades, and, like, if you didn't want him to touch you, he would stop. Like, if you told him no, he would stop. And Minty sort of continues and says, like, if you keep going with this, he's going to break your heart because he isn't built for love.
Yeah.
And I sort of think that's a jerk thing to say. Like, just because you've been around him longer and he doesn't love you, that doesn't mean he doesn't love somebody.
Yes, I completely agree. But she's probably also seen it happen to a lot of people, I would assume. But I think this specific point of hers is her jealousy. I think she has a lot of good points in this conversation, but I do think that the jealousy does come out.
Yeah. Minty offers to help Persephone out of her bargain. She says that in the underworld, there's this thing called the Well of Reincarnation, and it's in the mountains, and it's water, and if you take some of that water and pour it on anything, it'll give life to that thing. So she's like, go into the mountains, get that water from that stupid well, put it on your pitiful little garden, something will grow, and then you can, like, move on with your life. And Persephone asks Minty, like, why are you helping me? And, like, she's not helping you. We can all see that. She doesn't even like you.
Yeah.
Like, why are you asking such a stupid question?
100%. Like, clearly she's telling the truth because she wants to fucking get rid of you.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Persephone doesn't just believe her immediately.
Yeah. So she heads, so, like, Minty says, like, I'm not protecting you. I'm protecting, she says, I'm not helping you. I'm protecting Hades. And she also said that I think that you are the worst wager he has ever made. he's made a lot of bets. He's made a lot of
Yeah.
pictures. Like that's saying something.
I just I hate the like two women who hate each other trope over a man. Like I hate it so much. Like I like well, I don't even like either of these people. I was gonna say I like them separately. I just not that I dislike them. I understand the characters, but I just hate pitting women against each other, especially over a man. I hate it so much.
And not even just over a man, but over a man that neither of them are in a relationship with.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's like even well, I'm not gonna say he's not two timing them, so they're not mad, but like they shouldn't be mad at each other anyway. If he was two timing them,
Yes. Yeah.
they should be mad at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm not on this. Like girls, we got enough shit to worry about. We shouldn't be going against each other for no reason.
Preach.
Yeah. Anyway, so that little nugget that Minthy says that he's the worst wager she's ever made sticks in her craw a little bit. Like she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And she keeps thinking about it. So she heads to the underworld to water her flowers. And she stops by Asphodel, which is that little like town. I don't understand this town though. So like apparently whenever she goes to the underworld, she stops by Asphodel and like chats with the souls that live there. And she does that all the time now. I don't understand what Asphodel is. Is it like a town with the souls in it? In which case, does it have every single soul that has died ever in history in this town? Because if so, that would make it gigantic.
Yes. But a very long wait list is 3 months. So I feel like there's not many people in this world.
Even still, like, that would literally be every single person that has died over thousands of years.
Yeah, it absolutely cannot be because she would never find the same people again.
No!
So it must be like there must be separate little settlements in this area, and she goes to one settlement, is what I've decided.
Good. No, listen, as long as we have an explanation for it,
Yeah.
I'll take that on board. But I was reading it through and I was like, does everybody live here? Like, apart from the few that are in Elysium, because I know that that's a place. And then the select few that are in Tartarus, because they're assholes. Like,
maybe everyone's in Tartarus. Maybe everyone's a piece of shit.
They were like, you're immortal? Yeah, you're going to Tartarus. Like, yeah. Anyway, so... Anyway, it bothered me a little bit. So while she's there, she meets up with her friend Yuri, who is a young lady. And they're like, the market is really bustling. They're putting up like decorations. It seems like something is happening. And she asks Yuri what's going on. Apparently they are having a celebration of Hades, just for fun. And they're saying, and she's like, celebrating Hades. Like, why? Is it his birthday or something? And they're like, no, we're just hoping he's soon gonna have a queen. And like, that's a reason to celebrate him? You think soon he's gonna have a queen? Like, you're not celebrating because he's engaged. He's not in a relationship. He's not married. You think
yeah.
soon he'll have a queen.
Yeah.
And they sort of imply that it's her. And, like, if that were me and it was a guy I'd known for, like, a month, I'd be like, whoa. Like, chill out, dead people. So, she sort of then says, like, nobody has, she says that, like, Hades hasn't given another god free reign over his realm the way he's given Persephone the reign. Like, she can come and go whenever she wants. She can wander wherever she wants to go. Like right now she's in Asphodel without him around. Like, she can go wherever the hell she wants to go. And Yuri also says, like, that the souls can see that Persephone cares for Hades and also cares for all the souls. And I'm like, cares for Hades. Like, she literally can't be in a room without arguing with him.
Yeah.
Like, I get that they care for each other, but like, I think that's a long, long way off from like getting married.
Yeah, 100%. This was wild.
This is wild. They've
Yeah.
literally known each other for like a month, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And like, they don't like well, she doesn't like him at this point, and they're all like, oh, you're gonna be our queen.
Yeah. Did they not read the article she wrote?
They're dead.
Can't get the paper in the afterworld.
Oh my god, they should. They should be able to subscribe. Anyway, so she sort of was like, okay, I'm gonna go play with some children now. And like just sort of like leaves that conversation.
Yeah.
And she plays tag, and like she's wearing this like skin like, I'm thinking the way I picture it when they describe it, it's a white dress, but it's like a business. Think of like a businessy sort of dress that's like sort of square cut neck at the top and like, but tight and hugging all the way down, and like pencil skirt ish, like to maybe just above the knees.
Yeah.
That's the sort of dress she's in, and it's all white. Problematic. So she plays with them. She plays tag with these like little baby children souls. And she gets all muddy and messy and ruins her dress. After that, she goes back to the town. And the people, aka there's like a blacksmith there named Ian. And he's like, my lady, we have something for you. And he presents her with this golden crown. And she said it's like all different types of flowers made out of gold. And there's different colored gems in all the centers of the flowers. It sounds beautiful.
It does, yeah.
And the soul Ian, he asks her if she'll accept it. And like, she's thinking to herself, I'm not their queen. I don't really want to be their queen at this point. But she also doesn't want to hurt their feelings, because she can tell that like they're all sort of like expectantly looking at her and like waiting and like holding their breath. And like she knows Ian put a lot of work into making that crown for her, so she doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So she says, sure.
Which is so dumb.
Yeah. Like
you can't just like, yeah, you can't. It's
not a great situation.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's essentially confirmed. Like, I feel like at this point, the souls think that she loves Hades. And she's like, no, don't even like the guy. Anyway, then she, like, dances with all of them for a long time. They're, like, all dancing in a circle. It sounds like a really fun celebration, actually. And Hecate shows up. And she's, like, there. And they're celebrating. And she tells Persephone that Hades hasn't ever celebrated with the souls. And Persephone's like, why? And like, Hecate doesn't know the answer. So like, she's wondering now, like, I'm wondering how often these guys celebrate. Like, how often do they put off like celebrations? And how are they different than from a normal day?
Yeah. Maybe they celebrate every day. Something different. And maybe that's why this is just like, no big deal.
It's like, hey, it's these million people's birthdays. Let's celebrate.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then, so Hecate then asks her, like, do you have your mask yet for the gala tomorrow? I didn't realize that it's an Olympian gala. I didn't realize that meant it was a masquerade party.
Yeah.
But it is.
Of course.
And then Persephone's like, no, I was just going to go grab one tomorrow. And I'm like, come on. You have a dress, but you didn't get a mask with it. Like, you're going to wait last minute? Like, ugh. Moronic.
Yeah.
Then Hecate is like, don't worry about it. I will make you one. Like, please just let me provide it for you. And then she's like, also, you need a bath. You are a mess.
Yeah.
Not wrong. She literally was all muddy and messy and like dancing around with people all for like a long time. So Hecate takes Persephone to it's a public bath in the palace / castle, like Hades' residence. But then there's another private section that's Hades' private bath. So like, I don't know if you know like what bathhouses are. It's just like a big pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big pool, but it's bath water, I guess, and it's like you just bathe there, but it's gigantic.
Yeah.
It's not like a bathtub. So she gets in the bath like Hades or Hecate is like, yeah, I'll leave you. Like you're gonna bathe in Hades' private bathing like
Mm-hmm.
pub like bath. And so she goes in, she gets in the tub, and she's just like sitting there soaking. And she thinks back now to what Minthy said about her, about how like she was the worst wager Hades ever made. And then she's like looking around and thinks that Hades is like a magician with his magic. And like just the way he created the underworld and like all of these illusions of these beautiful meadows and forests and everything was just really beautiful. Mm-hmm. And like as she's like she's deep in her head when all of a sudden Hades shows up. Of course he does. I don't know, how does he even know she's in the bathtub?
Oh, I thought that he just was gonna get a bath.
Oh. I mean, that makes sense too. I thought
that may just be naive of me. But like you'd think he'd know wherever he probably has a sense of wherever she is in the underworld.
Maybe.
I would assume.
Yeah, that's actually a good assumption.
It's connected to him. Yeah, but I actually just thought that he got there and was like, oh shit, you're here.
I feel like that's too like
I know.
Okay. So he sort of like looks at the crown because she took it off, and so he looks at it and he's like, wow, this crown is really beautiful. And he was like, they were right to celebrate you. And she's sort of like, why don't you ever celebrate with them? And he said something that's actually really sad. He says he's not worthy of having them celebrate him or celebrating with them, which I find really sad, actually.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely has some like issues that he has to
work
solve.
On?
Yes, he needs to work on some things.
Yeah.
Then he sort of like changes the subject and he's like, can I join you in the bath? Woo! So he strips and she like makes no, like, she doesn't look away. She doesn't like, she eyes him. She checks him out. She like roams over his body. And
as a virgin.
Yes! She has never touched a peen.
I would be afraid of it.
Yeah, especially since it's probably a considerable length.
And girth.
I hate that word.
Oh, really?
I hate the word girth.
I love knowing that. That's funny. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I just don't like the sound of it.
Girth.
Anyway, so she's checking him out, and I quote, she eyes his arousal. So she's like staring at his penis.
Yeah.
And then he gets in. And then they just chat for a little while. Like, they're both just in the tub and they chat. They apologize to each other, which is progress. Like, good for you.
Yeah. Because
the last time they really met was the night after La Rose, and he like teased her and then walked away. So, and like her saying that, like, you know, him saying that he thought she hated her, him, and all this stuff. So they sort of chat a little bit more, and he's like, do you like your life in the mortal realm? And she's like, yes. Like, I have a life, I have friends, I go to school. When I graduate school, I'm gonna like get a job, hopefully, and like I'll be doing something that I like. And he's really confused about this because he's like, you're divine, like you're a goddess. And she sort of is like, yeah, but I've never really lived as divine, have I? Because she has no magic. And I sort of I feel bad for her here because, like, here she is, a full-fledged goddess. She's not a demigod. She is 100% goddess. I wonder who
Mhm.
her father is.
Yeah.
If she has a father, maybe in mythology, maybe she came about a different way. Maybe like Demeter planted a special seed or something like
A
that.
seed. Yeah.
um, but like it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad for her. Like how like Hades cannot understand why she likes her mortal life, but like she literally has no other, like that's the most free she's ever been.
Yeah.
Um he then asks her, she was like, I've never lived as a divine. And he was like, do you want to know what it's like? And she lies and says no. And like she admits that she's lying, like in her head.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think you're lying.
Uh.
And she's like, you don't know me. And he responds with like, no, I do know you. Like, and he's like, I know how your breath catches when I touch you. And I know how your skin flushes. And he's like, I know that there's a darkness and a passion and a rage beneath your like pretty exterior. And I'm like, and that's about all you know. You know physical things.
Yeah.
Like you don't really know anything about her personality. Like,
yeah. Anybody that's seen her for 5 seconds knows that she has a rage. It's her main emotion.
Yeah. So he goes behind her. And he starts to touch and starts to kiss her. And he says he wants to taste what's beneath the facade. And I'm like, and he says he wants to help her with her power, like to mold it and to shape it. And she's like, okay, like, yes. And so, again, he's behind her still. So he puts his hand, he cups her sex.
Ugh.
I know, aka he touches her vagine.
Yes.
And she admits that she's a virgin in this moment.
Which is a good thing to do.
Yeah, I will say. But like at the same time, she doesn't have to.
No. But like if she thinks that they're gonna have sex,
Yeah.
like I understand why you want to tell them.
Yeah. And then he asks to be her first, which I actually appreciate.
Consent,
yes.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Consent.
So then he fingers her, and this comment killed me. Because he says, you're so wet. And they're in the bed.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All I can think of is the gross bathwater going up as he's putting his finger in. And that is why I don't like it.
Like they're in the bathtub. Of course it's wet in there.
Yes, I know.
Oh,
but this is how you get an infection.
This is an infection.
Bath water.
But she's a goddess.
Shoved up there. Oh, true.
So she's immune to UTIs and other infections.
True.
So then he makes her play with her own clit so that he can squeeze a bit of boob. And he's like kissing her neck, and like she's really starting to go for it, and like it's hot, it's steamy. She's like right on the verge. And then he stops. That would piss me right off.
100%.
Like so bad. And like I don't care if what follows is like also good.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're right there, no way, no. Not polite.
Although it does sometimes make it better.
Maybe. But
edging is good sometimes.
Fine. Anyway, but yeah, so just a little bit of a dick move because like he like stops and she's like, ah! She's really unhappy. Yeah. And then he like comes around her again so that they're facing each other, and they kiss for a bit, and he asks her, he was like, do you trust me? And she says that she does. and that then she thinks in her head, in this, she will always trust him. So, like, it's sort of her admitting here that, like, she really only trusts him with physical stuff, is what I'm getting it. And, like, I feel like that's bad.
Yeah. But also, why does she trust him?
Yeah. Well, I guess he saved her a few times.
Yeah, and he is very consent oriented, so maybe. I guess I get it. Yeah.
Anyway, he lifts her onto the edge of the bath, and I guess we can sort of see where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And this part is like red flag overload. Like, overload. Like, this is the reddest flag I have ever encountered. It's red on red on red.
Mm-hmm.
He wants clarification that she has not been naked with anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, specifically, he literally asks if she has been with anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, tell me you have never been naked with a man. Tell me I am the only one. That's
awful.
It's a no-go for me. Like,
it's awful. It's narcissistic. It's like very virgin purification. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like I've actually read a couple of reviews from some people, and apparently this moment was a stopping point for like
I can see that.
A few people.
Yeah.
And fair point. Like, this is not an okay portrayal of anything for anybody. As hot as the moment was, this like was not okay. So, moving on, but just clarifying, neither of us think this is okay. I
don't think it was necessary.
No. And like, again, she already told him she was a virgin. Why did he, like, I just don't understand why he felt the need to push that.
Yeah, he just wants to hear that he's the only person that's ever seen her like this, which is just it just pisses me off.
Yeah. So he puts his head down towards her thighs and he puts his mouth on her sex, quote unquote. Yeah. So he eats her out until she comes. He actually lets her come this time. And then he kisses her, and his like penis is like right ready, about to penetrate, about to fill her up
with his girth.
And then all of a sudden, of course, they are interrupted. So Minthy comes to see why Hades wasn't at dinner. And Hades is like, I'm fine, go away. Like, I don't need supper. Like,
yeah, she was also saucy back, which I loved.
Yeah, she was. She's like, I'll just tell everybody that your appetites have been sated otherwise, or something like that. It was it was sassy.
Yeah, I liked it.
So he sends her away, but then Persephone starts thinking about the fact that she came down to Hades' private bath as if she had done it before.
Well, yeah, like she walked in and knowing that he's probably naked. She would see him naked. Yeah. Literally 5 seconds ago, Hades was like, tell me I'm the only man that's ever seen you naked. But this woman comes down and sees him naked all the time. Yeah. Like, I can see why she was 100%.
Pissed. So she gets out of the bath because, like, that killed the mood for her. And he's sort of like, wait, what? Like, so she gets out of the bath and she is, like, going to leave. And Hades, like, doesn't want her to go. And she's like, well, too bad. I don't actually want you. And that hurts his feelings. Mm-hmm. And I guess she's not that turned off because he, like, approaches her again and, like, starts kissing her again. And he says that one of his powers is that he can taste lies. So, like, she said she doesn't want him, but, like, he obviously knows that's a lie. Mm-hmm. And he says that her lies are as sweet as her skin. And she says, well, maybe, but, like, she was like, this was a mistake. And like that was the truth. And then she just like walks away.
Yeah.
And she sort of insinuates like, if you want somebody to help you out, like, why don't you get Minty back here?
Yeah.
So like she's super jealous, and I feel like he should, I don't know,
clarify that he's not sleeping with his assistant.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Like it's like he's pitting them against each other on purpose. And like I said a million times, I haven't finished the book, but I'm like, why hasn't he clarified anything yet?
Yeah. And like, yeah, it just bothers me that like, obvious, if he's a thousands year old god, so like he should be able to tell that she's jealous, and he should just like, hey, by the way, like, Minty doesn't see me naked on the regular. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just bothers me. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that night she's home and she's trying to get to sleep, but she is too horny. So she takes off her nightdress and starts to touch herself like Hades showed her earlier that day. And she says where she had never touched herself before. So she has never made herself come, is what I get from that. She has never masturbated with her own hand. So does that mean that her pool orgasm was her first ever orgasm? I guess maybe she's humped things before or something. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I just like, I can't, I don't know, man. Like, I wish I had an answer, but like the only thing I could say is, I mean, technically Demeter would have had the entire control of her education.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not something she educated her on.
Yeah. I just feel like once you leave for university, she's been going to university for 3-4 years. You'd think like, that she'd maybe.
But like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's not something that people are like, hey, did you masturbate last night? No, what's that? Oh, that's when you like touch your, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, but nobody ever told me what masturbation was. I just kind of figured it out on my own when I was a kid. Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, like,
you figure out what feels good, and then, yeah, but it also just seems another one of those like pure things. And I don't know, like maybe the author, like in her life, waited until marriage or something, and this is a thing for her. I don't know, but I just am so much for women empowerment and women knowing their bodies, and like having a part of your body that you've never touched just seems insane to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, also the whole like, I guess Hades showed her like how to rub her clit, I guess. Fine. Cool. So she's masturbating now, and she's thinking of kind of like what could have happened if they weren't interrupted. And she hears Hades' voice and asks her if she's thinking about him. And she like rolls over, and he's there, just standing at the end of her bed, Ed Cullen style. Like, whoa, what the fuck? And she tells him yes, she is thinking about him, and she takes off. Oh, I guess no, she didn't take off her nightgown earlier. She took off her panties.
Yeah.
So she takes off her nightgown now.
Do you know what? Can I just say this? Like the whole, like, I just did a quick reread of that scene, and like, so she steps out of her panties, and like the cool breeze against her, like against her is soothing, and I'm like, really? Like, that's helping you with the fact that you're horny, the cool breeze?
Yeah. Also, why is your room so cold?
Yeah. Yes.
That's not a good thing. Nobody's happy about that. Yeah. So she rolls over, sees Hades at the end of her bed.
Yeah.
And she says, yes, I'm thinking about you, while touching myself. And then she takes off her nightgown.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
And then she does get herself off, which I'm like, Good for her. Second orgasm ever in her life. And she, I guess, closes her eyes during her climax. And when she opens her eyes, she kind of like, I guess, comes back to herself and she's like, fuck, why is Hades in my room? And I can't believe I just stripped in front of him. But then she looks around and she's alone. And she's not sure if she hallucinated him or not. But she says that she could smell his pine and ash scent as she falls asleep. So
consensus. Was he actually there? Or
I think
was
so.
she dreaming?
I think he was there.
I also think he was there. But like the fact that like he just disappeared. Like how would he? You would think that he would be like jumping on her because like
yeah.
And like how did he know that she was like jerking off?
I feel like he knows a lot of things about her. Maybe we'll get something on that at some point. But is he just watching her at all times?
Gross.
Anyway, so I guess when she wakes up, her and
at least she ended up getting a sleep after.
Yeah, exactly. So Persephone and Lexa in the next scene are getting ready for the gala. And Lexa tells Persephone that she looks like the goddess of the underworld. And Persephone's like, ugh, there's no goddess of the underworld. And Lexa's like, the spot is just vacant right now. So
I kind of love that.
Yeah, it's obviously foreshadowing and teasing and stuff, but like I'm like silly. Persephone doesn't want to think about Hades because she's confused, because she's very attracted to him, but she knows, I say in quotes, that he likely just wants her body, and she really wants love in her life. She's like, she's been denied so much in her life. She really wants somebody who loves her, which is like nice and all that, but I'm also like, who does she expect it to be? Because like she obviously wouldn't end up with a mortal. She kind of says in the first week, I think she said. So like I don't know who else she could love.
The thing that bothers me is that she's just bringing this up now.
Yeah.
Like if this was something she really wanted, why has she not mentioned this before?
Especially when she was talking like the first week, she was thinking about how she was a virgin and never touched by anybody, but now she's like, I want to be loved.
And like, is she a virgin because was she trying to save that for any reason? Or
yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Why was she still like, I'm sorry, if you were an 18-year-old let loose in the mortal realm after being cooped up in a greenhouse for 18 years, you're saying that you wouldn't immediately go to the hottest guy that you could find and just let him like devour you?
Yeah.
Just saying. So like, yeah. Why? I'm sure she's had plenty of opportunity to sleep around, but she hasn't. So why?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
No,
I get it. Persephone changes the subject and she asks about Jason, who Lexa met at La Rose. I know we talked about this today, but I'm just like, was that before or after she was drugged? But I guess we don't really know if she was drugged, and it never comes up. So
again, like I can't imagine she had been drugged, because if she had, how would she have given Jason her phone number, and how would she have met him?
Exactly.
Unless she was so drugged that he saw her being drugged and like helped her home or something and was like nice about it.
But you just think that like they'd have a conversation about the fact that they were drugged. There's no, this friendship is so fucking weird. I know I keep saying that. But anyway, Lexa's apparently been talking to Jason a fair bit and she likes him. So that's good for her. I guess she's not very hung up on Adonis, which is ideal.
I really thought that was going to be a bigger deal than what it was.
Me too. It was nothing.
It was
like, oh, well.
Like,
found a new guy the same night.
I like him so much. Oh, he's fucking Aphrodite. Oh, well.
Like, I just found somebody else the exact same night.
Yeah.
Cool. A package shows up and it's a mask and a note telling Persephone to wear the mask and her crown. So she does, which I think is weird. I don't think I'd be wearing a crown.
No,
But
yeah, like, especially since she's going as press. Like,
yes,
she's not
exactly.
going as as a full-fledged guest. She got free
Yeah.
tickets as a press person. So, like, if it were me and I was, like, a secondary guest,
Yeah.
I would maybe not dress like nines. I'd maybe go sevens.
Yeah. Also wouldn't wear a crown.
Well, I feel like I feel
That's
like that's
tens.
yeah, stated in the fact that I wouldn't go nines.
Yeah. Um anyway, so they go to the gala and they get there an hour and a half before the gods arrive, and like it seems like the gods are coming to basically red carpet.
Hmm.
So everybody has to get there before.
Yeah.
Um so then they're there just mingling for a bit, but then the gods start to show up. So Persephone and Lexa go to an outdoor terrace to like watch them arrive. Um, so Ares arrives first, and then Poseidon shows up, and he sounds hot and mysterious, and I want to know more
I know.
about him.
Doesn't he show up and he's like half topless? Like he's wearing like one of those Greek
No, Ares was, and so was uh what's his face, Zeus, I think. But I think Poseidon was wearing a suit. But anyway, apparently he's like jacked.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's like his upper body is jacked, which kind of makes sense because like as a swimmer, your upper body does get jacked. He just sounds hot.
Yeah.
Then Hermes shows up and he winks at Persephone. Apollo shows up with their new friend Sybil, and then Demeter shows up, and Alexa, which is interesting, notices that something must be wrong because she isn't working the crowd like she normally does. And Persephone suspects that whatever this something is has to do with her, but she says she won't let her mother ruin her fun. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. But also, Lexa always watches the show. She knows what they all look like, and she can't recognize it when Demeter is
Yeah.
in her house.
Wild. Anyway, Aphrodite shows up next, and of course, Adonis is with her. Yeah. The girls do say that apparently Aphrodite is married to the god of fire, Hephaestus.
I think so.
Unsure. But he didn't come, and there are rumors that he doesn't want her. But they kind of say that there's just a whole bunch of rumors. But I don't know. I just thought that it was interesting that it came up.
It's also weird that like if they're married and they do love each other, why does she have Adonis on her arm?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know if it's relevant or anything, but I was like, it was brought up, so I'll say it.
I think it comes back in book 2 or 3 or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So Zeus and Hera show up last. And of course, Hades doesn't do all this red carpet bullshit.
Yeah.
But Persephone is like sad that he doesn't. And I'm like, he's not going to change the way he lives just because you want to see him. Like, dumb. Anyway. Persephone and Lexa like start to walk back inside, and Persephone can feel that Hades is there now. And she looks around and she finds him, and he's at the entrance, and he is hot as hell. And he's checking out Persephone too. Mm-hmm. But then Persephone sees Minth, and Minth looks stunning. And Persephone is pissed because she thinks that Hades thinks that he can have both of them. And she says that her glamour starts melting, but then doesn't say anything else about it. And is just like, let's go get drinks to Lexa. And I'm like, so did she build her glamour back up? Like, or did she just let it melt? I don't understand. But anyway, so they go get another drink, and then Lexa goes to the bathroom, and Hermes comes over to talk to Persephone. And he calls her the goddess of Tartarus because she's torturing Hades. And it was just so punny, and I loved it.
Yeah.
They have a bit of a conversation about Minth because he can tell that she's jealous. But Hermes tells her that like Hades doesn't love Minth or he would have married her years ago. And Persephone says Hades doesn't believe in love. And Hermes is like, maybe I'm wrong, but you know, I've only known Hades for centuries and you've known him for a few months. And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
This is what we've been saying.
Yes.
You don't know him.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
No.
Anyway,
Ugh.
so Hermes kisses her on the cheek and asks her to save him a dance and basically tells her to make Hades jealous back, is what I got from it.
Yeah.
Lexa sees Hermes kiss Persephone on the cheek and like asks her about it, and she's a bit hurt that Persephone didn't tell her that she had met Hermes, but she's super understanding and like immediately forgives her and is like, it's because everything's been insane lately. So like this is where Persephone does say this is why her and Lexa are best friends, I guess, because Lexa forgives her for not telling her shit. Like,
yes, yeah. This is actually this is exactly what I was talking about. She said there was a reason Lexa was her best friend, and it was moments like this when Persephone felt the most thankful for her. So literally because she didn't tell her something and she's okay with it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like a reason to be besties.
No, not at all.
Just personal preference. I don't know.
Yeah. So they all go back to their tables because the supper is about to start. But Persephone can't eat because she's so mad that Hades brought a date because she's anxious. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, is she mad? Is she just horny? Like, I don't know what her damage is.
Me neither. Don't really know what's going on. Anyway, I guess while everybody's eating, Minth walks across the stage to announce Hades' charity. It's the Halcyon? Do you know how to say that?
I don't know. It's a real thing.
I know, yeah. I looked it up because I was like, is this something?
Yeah, and I didn't pay attention on how it's supposed to be pronounced.
I'm just going to say Halcyon Project. So she explains that she shows a video that basically explains that it's a charity that helps people with addictions for free, just like Persephone asked Hades to do. And she watches it, and instead of being like, oh, he listened to my advice, she says, is he making fun of me? What? That doesn't even make sense. Like, even if he is making fun of you, it's what you wanted, so it doesn't matter. There's no reason for her to be mad here, but she's mad. Anyway.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't really get it. Like, I'm just like, it's literally what she wanted him to do. And now that he's doing it, she's like, I can't believe him. But I feel like that's just her insecurities coming through.
Sure, but there's just no downside to this. Like, even if he is doing it to placate her or whatever, or to make fun of her, whatever that means, like,
he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, Hades gets up and does his own speech kind of thing, which she's surprised about. But he says that a few days ago, a scathing article came out about him, and he took the suggestions to heart after spending time with the writer. She's so skeptical here, and like, I get that she doesn't trust him completely, but like, she has to realize. But she's just like, no, it's just about his reputation, just so that he seems better after that terrible article I wrote about him. Anyway.
That she really only wrote part of.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's so dumb. So, there's an exhibit set up that basically details this new facility that Hades has designed. So, everybody's walking through it, and she, like, goes through it slowly and takes her time and looks at every little detail and scrutinizes it all. So that by the time that she's actually done looking at everything, there's already people dancing. She
Was it scrutinizing, or was it like just trying to soak in, like, and like admire it?
I don't know. I kind of felt like she was scrutinizing every detail. I just feel like she's that kind of person. But it could be both, I guess. Or it could be maybe I just see the worst in her.
Maybe.
um yeah, so she's back out now and she's looking around at everybody dancing and she is looking around, obviously looking for Hades, but she sees Adonis and she says that she's glad he's staying away from her and like that he hasn't come to talk to her at work or anything. And I'm like, he fucking drugged her.
Yeah.
Shouldn't like
The police be involved?
right? Shouldn't somebody report him? Also, like, he kissed her after she said no, which is sexual assault, and now she's working with him. Like, there's just so many levels wrong with this, and nobody cares.
No.
But anyway,
Least of all her, it seems.
right? I just don't understand. Um. Anyway, she doesn't see Hades, but Sybil does come over to tell her that she looks beautiful. And Sybil mentions that the exhibit is marvelous, and she knew that Hades and Persephone's union would create great things. And Persephone tries to argue back with Sybil and tell her that, like, they're not a thing.
Yeah.
But Sybil says that she's been able to see since she met Persephone that, like, her colors are interwoven with his, and like their destiny is woven by the fates to be together. And if we remember from the first time they met, Sibyl's an oracle. But Persephone is super shocked by this revelation that she just got. And it's like, after the festival where they gave you a crown, after Hermes said the shit he said to you earlier, after Hecate said like everything she said, and Lexa even thinks that she's going to be the goddess of the underworld. Like, it just seems dumb to be so shocked.
Well, you would just think she would have a little bit more belief, considering they live in a world of magic and gods and goddesses. Like, I feel like if anything for me, it would sort of be a revelation. Like, oh, this is why we're drawn to each other.
Yeah.
This is why he's
why I can't seem to get like stay away from him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, if anything, I feel like this would be helpful for me.
Yeah, I think the exact same thing. But Persephone goes to panic in the bathroom. And
of course.
I kind of hated this because she was like, I lightly splashed some water on my cheeks, trying not to mess up my makeup. And I'm like, what? You can't splash water on your cheeks and not mess up your makeup. That's not possible.
That's not how makeup works.
No.
But she must have one killer setting spray. That's all I have to say. But I mean, at the same time, I'm sure she could like up the glamour and like.
Well, exactly. Why does she even fucking wear makeup? Anyway, nothing.
Well, Lexa did her makeup and hair, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like she could be like, "Oh, don't worry about it, Lexa. I can just magic some in place." So.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so she's in the bathroom and Aphrodite corners her in there and she calls her Hades' muse. And Persephone like looks at Aphrodite and thinks that she looks familiar, but she can't really she can't think of how that's possible. And she also looks sad, which I'm like, how can you tell at a party when somebody is talking to you about something completely unrelated that they're possibly lonely? Like, anyway.
And aren't everyone wearing masks anyway?
Yeah. I think the author forgot that people were wearing masks. Persephone like basically cuts the conversation off and very rudely leaves. And I'm like, I don't really think that was necessary. I don't think she should be burning bridges with gods.
She was actually being very rude to Aphrodite. Like, she kept being like, I don't want to she's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to see you. Like, get away from me.
Yeah. Aphrodite was like, I still have something to say. And she's like, I don't want to hear it. Bye. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Why not just listen? Like, I don't know. They're just words.
Yeah.
Just as Persephone is getting ready to, or thinking of leaving and calling a cab, Hades comes up to her and asks if she has anything to critique about his exhibit. And she says no. And he touches the back of her dress where there's like a black applique on the back. And he says, a touch of darkness. Which is just funny because it's the title of the book.
I don't think it's the first time. Like, I think it's said again before it's all said and done.
Yeah. He asks her to dance with him, and she sees gentleness on his face, so agrees. Whatever that means. They dance silently for a bit, and Persephone gets all hot and bothered, and it makes me think of Pride and Prejudice 2005 when they dance together silently and nobody is around them, and then once the dance ends, people show up again, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they dance, and she's starting to get a bit horny, but then she gets mad again, obviously, default setting. Mm-hmm. And she asks why he isn't dancing with Minth since she is his date. And he says she is not his date, she is his assistant. So Persephone asks if they've slept together, and he proposes a game.
Or he could just answer the fucking question.
I know, right? Like, why are we pitting two women against each other? But of course not. Let's fucking propose a game.
But anyway, also, like, maybe she is his assistant, but like, did he tell her that she's not his date? Because like, she showed up dressed to the nines on his arm. Like, normal person would think, oh, I'm his date.
His date. Yeah, exactly. And obviously Persephone's going to think that. Like, she was on his arm.
Yeah.
That's what a date does.
It's not like she showed up behind him with like, what, a Palm Pilot or like a clipboard or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like she's working right now.
No.
Like, so. I don't know.
Yeah. So they stop dancing and he puts his hand out for her to take. And she's like, I've had a few drinks, so I do it. She takes his hand and they just teleport to the underworld. And I'm like, everyone's still watching though, right? Like,
everyone sees them go.
Yeah. That's weird. Anyway, he's kind of a bit sweet here. I don't know if that's the right word. He asks if she wants food since she barely ate at the gala, but she says she's not hungry. And then in her head, she thinks not for food anyways. So they get a drink.
They've been dancing around, like, having sex for a really long time. So, like, she's all hot and bothered.
Yes, very much so. So they each get a drink and then they sit opposite each other. And Hades proposes a game of poker. And she wants her questions answered and he wants her clothes. So it's basically strip poker on her side, but she only has one piece of clothing on, which is the dress.
But she's also wearing, like, again, like, we would assume she's still got the mask on, she's still got her crown on, her shoes, jewelry. Like, she got a lot to play with.
She asks about her jewelry, if that counts, and he says that he might want to fuck her with her crown on. So
that's a good point.
We'll see.
Okay, well, each shoe counts as one.
All right, that's what I'd say. I wouldn't ask him if the jewels count. I would be like, this counts. Fuck you. And he wouldn't want me, and that would be the issue. She does say that, like, they haven't said that they're going to have sex because he said that he wants to fuck her with a crown on. And, like,
she's playing with fire, if that's the case. Like, she's being, like, not that she's, like, teasing him and he can't handle it, so, like, she got to deliver. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, you know.
She wants it.
Yeah.
She even, like, her next thought is, like, she's not sure if she'll be able to resist having sex with him again. So, like, obviously.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they play the first hand. She loses, and he takes her necklace off and then kisses along her collarbone. And she is on fire for him. And he says he could help her with that, but she wants to keep playing. Obviously, she wants the answer to her question. We all want the fucking answer to her question.
Yeah. It's true. Like and it's something he needs to answer. Like regardless of where they go, she needs to know like what his relationship is with Minty.
100%. So she ends up winning the next hand, and she asks if he's ever slept with her. Like, she doesn't even say her name. And Hades says once, and she asks when, and he tells her a very long time ago. And I'm glad that he answered that too, because I guess he didn't really have to, but yeah, he asks her if she's angry, and she says that she is, but she doesn't really know why. And then she thinks, and I quote, she thought it might have something to do with the fact that she was not his first, but that was silly and irrational. Hades had existed in this world far longer than she, and to expect him to abstain from pleasure was ridiculous.
Yep.
But
he expected her to abstain.
Yes. I hate it.
I also hate it.
So I think that's dumb. But anyway, they play another round. He wins and takes her earrings and nibbles her earlobes while he does it.
No, thank you. No, thank you on the earlobe play.
Oh, really?
I'm not an earlobe fan.
That's fair.
Are you an earlobe fan?
I don't mind it. My thing is, I like... sorry. My thing is, I like biting. So
yes,
that part of it I enjoy, but like that could be anywhere and I'd like it. It's not specific to earlobes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I get you.
So she wins the next hand and she asks if he's ever used his invisibility on her. And he's kind of surprised because he doesn't know why she's asking the question. But she's asking because of like the masturbating in the bed incident when he was there.
But he wasn't invisible.
I know.
So I don't.
But I know. I don't understand. So he says no. So she is like, oh, good. I must have hallucinated him. And I'm like, no. He just teleported to the bottom of your bed, watched you masturbate, and then teleported away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, she also asks him to promise not to use it on her, and he does agree. So I would be happy with that.
That's a win, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to stalk me like Edward Cullen anymore.
Right? While he deals the next hand, she asks why he lets people think such negative things about him. And he says he doesn't control what people think, and like their words don't matter. She asks him what holds weight for him, if not words. And he says actions. And he walks towards her and he flips his cards and he has a royal flush.
Of
and she
course
doesn't,
he does.
Yeah. She doesn't even bother looking at her cards, knowing that she can't win. But I'm like, what if she also got a royal flush? They could tie, couldn't they?
I also love how she knows all of the hands in poker now so well.
Yeah.
After only playing him once before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She knows everything.
I'm just putting that out there. She must have studied.
Probably. So she stands up to meet him as he walks towards her and they kiss and he pulls her dress down, which I don't really understand. It must be a deep V in the front because I'm like, isn't the back fully covered with the applique thing? Anyway, he pulls it down so it's like pooling at her waist. And her boobs are free so that he can play with her nipples.
I love a free boob.
Free the nipple.
Free the boobs and the nipples. Exactly. Free it all. Free the bees Free the peas and the veggies.
And that's what he does. Then he pulls up the bottom of her dress, so it's just like a belt.
Which is really not hot.
No, it's not. It's also like, it'd be a very cumbersome belt. Like it's a gown.
Gown, yeah.
Anyway, so he is still fully clothed.
Which I kind of like I know we talked about how like not embarrassing, but how shy she should be being naked when he's fully clothed. But like, I'm not gonna lie, I like being like, I don't hate being naked when the other person is fully clothed. Like, it's kind of hot.
Yeah, and I feel like this part is a bit different anyway than the last time. But he tells her that he's thought of her every night since she left him in the bath, and she left him desperate and swollen with need only for her.
In other words, case of blue balls.
A big old case of the blue balls. I love sex scenes.
But do you know what though? I will say that like, they're so much more fun. They're so much more fun to read than they are to like talk about.
Yes, 100%. Like, once you dig into them, you're like, oh, this is not okay.
So like, I was reading this with my husband the other night. Like, I was reading it sitting next. No. That came out wrong. He was like playing a video game or something.
I was playing.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Okay, he was playing a video game and I was sitting next to him reading this section, and he likes to make fun of me a little bit for the romancy books, and he was like, are they having sex yet? And I was like, yes, would you like me to read it to you?
No.
And so I did.
No.
And just saying it out loud was really bad, and he thought it was really bad.
You're hurting me.
He just thought I would
die.
He just thought it was really funny.
Yeah. I feel like I can say it here to you and laugh about it, but I don't think I could like straight face read it.
Oh,
out loud.
Oh,
no.
I obviously there were sections that I giggled, but like, it was fun to laugh about it together.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Especially since like they're all so ridiculous.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Back to the sex.
Back to it. Woo. His swollen need.
His swollen need only for her. He tells her he will be a generous lover, and then he goes down on her.
I'm happy he feels that way.
Yeah. She tries to grab his hair, but he pins her arms at her sides, and he tells her he will be generous but not kind. Okay.
Why?
Right?
Why not?
She's a fucking virgin. You have to be kind. I can't even with that. Just wait. So he's going down on her, and then he uses his fingers, and she tries to hold off her orgasm. Not sure how she knows like how to do that. This is her third ever orgasm by my count. And she ends up chanting his name as she came apart. He comes up for air.
Does it actually say that?
No, that's what I said. I don't think so. I think I just said that.
Okay.
To kiss her, and she tries to unbutton his shirt, but he stops her, and he like pulls her dress back up and puts it right, and she's confused and desperate to be filled. Did you read that part about being filled? Did you tell him that she's a virgin?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, but we did discuss how it's a miracle she never gets a UTI.
Yeah. Goddess. he picks her up then and is on the way to his chambers, and he wants like everybody in the palace to see and know that he should not be disturbed.
Yeah, because she sort of asked, she's like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "My room." And she's like, "Why didn't you just teleport us there? Like, why are you walking?" He's like, "I want everyone." Yeah, he's like, "I want everyone to see and not disturb us." And I'm like, "So you're showing off that you're going to go have sex? You just want everyone to know you're going to have sex."
Yeah.
I mean, why couldn't he just like put it on the loudspeaker? I feel like it would do the same thing.
Put a sock on the door.
Yeah. Or a scrunchie.
So they're on their way to his bedroom, and she knows they're gonna have sex.
Yeah.
So she's thinking about it, and she thinks in her head that their darkness is going to come together tonight. What the fuck does that mean? When I have sex with Jeff, our darkness doesn't come together. We don't go murder someone after because we're now dark.
Yeah. No, it's no. I have no words.
And then after that, she says, after they've had sex, he will always be a part of her. And I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
But only if it's like because their fates are interwoven, not if it's because she's a fucking virgin.
I don't know.
That makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This whole virgin story, like storyline, bothers me. Like,
yes,
altogether.
Yeah. She also thinks it's going to be devastating. Why? Like, and in what way? Like, are they gonna break the palace? It's devastating in that way, or like, is she going to be upset? Anyway. Hades can kind of tell that she's overthinking everything, and he tells her that they don't have to do this, which is good. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Enthusiastic consent.
Yay.
But she says, I want you. Be my first. Be my everything. Everything. What?
That's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
A lot of pressure for him.
A bit intense for a spot of sex.
Especially seeing as how, like, passionate they are about it. Like, they're not like, it's not tender and loving and slow sex. Like, they are like hard, fast, like passionate, like carnal sex. Like, for her to put so much emotion into it, like right off the bat, it's sort of like, okay, step back here, lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hades undresses her, which is very easy because she just has a dress on. And she's standing there in her heels and crown, and I assume mask, because we haven't talked about the mask at all, but
yeah, I mean, it'd be weird if she's still wearing it. I feel like it would be really hard to kiss her.
Yeah. They must have taken their masks off when they got there in the beginning. Like,
yeah, like,
maybe I missed it.
But I feel like that would ruin her look.
Yeah, because the whole point was the mask and the crown together. So I don't know.
I feel like she must have taken it off when they started playing poker. Like,
maybe,
not as part of the game, but like took it off beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's just in her heels and her crown, I guess. And
which I actually love. Like, leaving the heels on during sex, I think is super hot.
Agreed. Yes. 100%. And he calls her beautiful, which also a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. Still, though, I feel like for the type of relationship they've had, this is just a bit like
soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She kind of like tries to unbutton his shirt and fucks around a bit, but like he has to take over because she doesn't know how to unbutton a shirt, I guess. She's very slow. She asks him to take off his glamour, and I actually do really like this. She tells him that he wants to fuck her with a crown and she wants to fuck a god. And I like that line. I can get behind that.
I can also get behind it.
When he takes his glamour off, his eyes turn from black to electric blue, and he has gazelle horns.
It's cute.
Sounds cute, yeah.
Like, I will say, though, I can appreciate horns on a female being really pretty. I can't picture, like, gazelle horns on a man being hot.
No, it sounds
I don't know
cute.
why. It does
Yeah.
sound cute. It doesn't sound like, "Ooh, I wanna fuck you because your horns are so hot." Like, I don't
Like,
know.
I feel like the only horns I can think of on a man are like ram horns.
Yes! Samesies.
Yeah.
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 It was weird.
Yeah. I'd like to see some fan art of
Also,
it.
I find it interesting that they have similar sort of horns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hers are kudu horns, which is, like, sort of like a so, like, a kudu is a type of antelope,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Do you
and
think
then
any of the
he's
gods just have a unicorn horn?
that'd be really funny. And, like, he's got gazelle horns, so, like, again, it's a type of antelope.
Yeah.
Considering, like, there are so many different types of horns, and considering that, like, her mother has deer horns. So it just, like, I don't know, it's interesting to me that they see that Persephone and Hades seem to have, like, similar species
Mm.
of horns, which means their horns probably look sort of matchy, I feel.
Yeah. It's
Except
probably
for
the
hers,
fates.
yeah, hers are white and his are black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
just something to think about.
So he plays with her a little longer and she reaches for his pants and then he finally gets naked. And she reaches for the first dick that she's ever seen on Afraid and on Thinking. And as she holds it, I think she's just touching it. He hisses.
Yeah.
So then she works it up and down from root to tip. I fucking hate the word root. Like, no, so gross.
Do you think it's sort of like flowery on purpose because she likes flowers and is the goddess of spring?
I hate it. She didn't kill it, did she? um, yeah, so she starts to work it up and down. And I'm like,
She giving him a handy.
she giving him a handy. I'm like, she knows how to do this, but not how to masturbate. Okay, fine.
I mean,
then she leans over and kisses it. Did you
I
read
found
that
this.
part?
Yeah. Oh my god, no. Do you know what? Sid found this part really, really hilarious.
Yes, so did I.
Don't we all? Like, she just went, like, gave it a little peck, like right on the tip. But, like, I thought it was really funny how much he liked it.
Yeah, she kisses it and he goes, fuck.
It's like, really?
What?
That's gonna do it for you?
Okay, good to know. She puts it in her mouth and she doesn't know what to do. So she uses her teeth, which I don't think would be my first instinct of my first ever BJ.
Well, like, I just feel like if you don't know what you're doing, but you know that something has to be done, like, I just feel like
blow on it.
Well, like, if it's in your mouth, I just feel like you would just, like, go up and down with your mouth and just, like, without doing any sort of, like, anything with it. Like, just go,
yeah. She teeth. Anyway, I'm assuming she puts her teeth away at some point. But he starts to thrust in her mouth and I guess she does something or maybe nothing. Maybe she just does nothing. And he pulls away and she assumes she did something wrong because she's so inexperienced and I hate it. But obviously she did not. He then asks her to tell him that she lied. And all I could think of was like, what time? Like, what are you even talking about? And he also tells her that only her words matter to him. He said words don't matter. So, but
yeah. So yeah,
he wants her to tell him that she lied about not wanting him. When she said she didn't want him, it was a lie. So now he wants her to tell him that she wants to have sex. Again, he's very consent oriented.
Yeah, too bad he's just also really like, you have to follow my rules and I own you, you're mine.
Yeah.
Like,
except for like at the end of this, he was like, follow my rules. And then she was like, but I didn't, and I'm not going to. And he's like, nah, I should have known better. So, like, what is this? Anyway. So he teases her vagina for like 1 second with his dick.
which is also great.
And then he just shoves all the way in, hard and fast. And she cries out. And I instinctively was like, oh, in fucking pain. Because she's a fucking virgin.
I know. Yep.
But no. She then tries to like cover her mouth, but he won't let her. He wants to hear her moans. And he impales her over and over. Nothing slow or gentle. And she cries out in ecstasy. She's a virgin!
I know. But
like, I like this sex. Good. Great. Hot sex. Not for a virgin!
I know. It actually does say, like, he is not brutal. Or he is not gentle at all. He is brutal. And, like, the impaling, I secretly love the word.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's good. But again, like, she is a virgin. Like, treat her a bit gently. Jeez, bye.
Just the first time.
And like there's no discussion of like hymen or anything like that.
No.
Breaking, no mess, no I mean, not saying it has to break. Maybe it's broken already, but like
yeah.
If the author is so like concerned with this virgin play, I'm surprised she didn't add in the hymen issue.
Yeah, because wouldn't he be like, why is there no blood?
Yeah.
Because he specifically asked.
Yes.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He talks while he's thrusting, of course, and he calls her his, and she orgasms from penetration the first time a dick has been inside of her in her entire life. And then he comes.
Yeah. But he does pull out. He uses the pull out method. They're not creating life in the underworld this way.
Because that would be bad. He doesn't want her out of the deal. He kisses her and calls her a test from the fates.
Because, of course, he's been alive for thousands of years, and that sex with a virgin was probably the best he's ever had.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He goes and gets a towel, and he cleans her up.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah. Maybe he cleans up the blood then. Who knows?
Maybe.
And she falls asleep in his arms. What is wrong with that? That's okay. There's so much wrong with all of this, and that's not it. Okay. I'm gonna cry. Okay. Oh, God. She wakes up to him grinding against her ass, I guess. And while I love a good wake up, like, sex thing, she was a virgin an hour ago. But she's here for it. No soreness, no worries. He pins her hands over her head and teases her. And he gets her off with his fingers, and she moans his name. And then he fucks her rough and wild. No soreness. Perfectly fine.
Yep.
She even wants him deeper and faster.
Yikes.
He flips them around. She rides him for a bit, and then they come again. And she thinks that if this is her fate, she's fine with it.
I mean, yeah. I feel like it's not a bad gig.
No, I'm not against it either.
No.
Persephone wakes up, and Hades is asleep this time. and she wants to touch him, but thinks that that's too intimate, and she's not his lover. What?
I mean, she kind of is. like this, they just had sex twice.
Yeah.
So she kind of is his lover. But,
so she's just
fine.
Yeah. So she's just looking at him and she starts to get horny again. But she doesn't want to because she's always imagined love would be different than what they have between them.
Okay.
Like, you were in a greenhouse for 18 years. What do you know about love?
Not very much.
No. So she puts on the black robe and goes to the balcony, and the full weight of having sex with Hades like crashes on her, and she has never been so confused or afraid before in her life.
Why?
What?
Why?
Right? She thinks that she's confused because she doesn't know how she feels about Hades. She's still mad about the contract.
I agree with that.
Yes. I be mad about the contract 100%. But I don't know. Confusion, I guess, makes sense because she's mad at him, but she's also can't stay away from him. Sure. And then she's afraid because she's losing herself to him, and she knows she won't be able to stay away from him now that they've had sex. I'm like, okay.
I feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's just such a natural thing when you're first like with somebody in love, right? Like you do lose yourself a bit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's natural.
Yeah.
Because you're all caught up in how happy you are and how good they make you feel. And you want to spend all of your time together. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it settles out.
Yeah. But I guess she's never experienced anything before, so.
No, so she doesn't know. But still.
Yeah, that's fair. She says she knows they're meant for each other, obviously. Sybil is a oracle and whatever. But that doesn't guarantee happiness. She says it could be chaos. And knowing them, she knows nothing good can come from that kind of love. And then in her head, she's like, ugh, why did I think the word love? This isn't love. You're like, what? It's obviously love. Fuck off.
Although she literally only started liking him yesterday.
I don't even know if she does. She decides on the balcony that she won't let herself regret the sex, which I'm like, good, because that would have tipped me right over the edge. Yeah. She decides.
Sex. It's sex, and it's good sex. Why would
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if it's bad sex, maybe, but like good sex, nah.
Yeah. And she says she decides to embrace it. Hades made her feel powerful and like a goddess for the first time. And then she says she feels something warm, a pulse, life. I'm like, what?
I actually originally thought this might have been a baby.
Me too.
I
still don't know what
he's creating life in the end.
Yes, exactly. I did think it was a baby at first. I still don't really know what it is other than so she says it starts to fade, but she chases it. She goes into the garden and she tries to feel it again, and it takes some time, but then she can feel magic, her magic.
Yeah. So it's her magic.
It's her magic, but if you were a goddess and felt your magic for the first time, I don't think then you just fuck off and forget about it for the rest of the day.
But she does.
You'd probably try to do something. But anyway, whatever. Her life. She's in the garden and Hades comes up behind her and asks if she's okay. She says yes. And she also tells him that she doesn't regret last night because he asked her. Which is good.
Yeah.
He goes to her and kisses her. And then he picks her up and lays her on his dick. And they fuck while standing in a field is what I got here.
So awkward. Can you imagine? I picture, obviously she's got her legs wrapped around him. And, but there's no purchase. She's not up against a wall.
No. I'm just trying to think of how she can bounce. Well, you see me bouncing.
I do see you bouncing.
I'm like, how do you do it? I can't picture it. I guess he's super strong.
Yeah.
But it just, I'm like, is that angle good enough? Like, how is he thrusting? Let me just stand up for a second.
Yeah, guys, for anyone who is wondering what's going on, Catherine is literally demonstrating.
I just don't. I guess I like a penis comes out.
But also, like, there was no foreplay.
No, but
Like,
she was hot and bothered from looking at him, so I'm sure she's wet.
well, that answers that question.
Yeah, she's good.
But also, she has not peed once
in the entire book.
Well, yes, but like since sex happened, she has not peed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not have to pee after you have sex?
Oh, I do, or I'd get a UTI.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Somebody needs to write realism into these books.
Yeah.
Like the magic I can get behind. The not peeing after sex, I cannot.
She's a goddess, so.
That's just a reason for everything.
Yeah. Of course, they both come while in this position.
Odd as heck position.
I know. I'm like, I almost want to look it up to see if I can just see it anywhere.
Check out the Kama Sutra, see if there are any like reviews.
Like
10 out of 10.
How strong he has to be, which I get, he's a god. He probably is strong enough. But like even I feel like it'd be easier if you could like hold her with one arm and then lay an arm on something, even if she is like just bouncing away over here.
But like think about too, he must be slightly bent for the angle, like a slight knee bend to get
I've been thinking about it. I'm gonna go try after this. I'm not. I am too heavy for that. I would murder him. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay.
We can do this.
So she immediately starts worrying about their future, about the contract, about like what the fuck they're gonna do. Are they gonna keep having sex? Are they never gonna talk again? Who knows? And we can't have a conversation about it because that would be vulnerability.
Yeah. Vulnerability. Yeah.
Okay.
You got it. You're good.
So they go inside and they get a shower and she asks for clothes, but Hades tells her that she can just go around naked. But she's like, what if Hermes or Chiron? Chiron makes more sense. Sharon. Chiron come around and he immediately goes to find her clothes and I didn't really understand this, but he just brings out like a bolt of green fabric, I guess, and just like designs her a dress on her.
No, I think what it is it's a traditional like Greek. You know how they have those like almost like a toga.
Yes.
But I think togas are Roman, so like whatever.
They're called something, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like they're ancient, so she probably doesn't know how to wrap it correctly, so he just wraps it for her. That's what I pictured.
Yes, that makes more sense. I was like, is he just like pinning the dress on her ass? I was like, I don't know what's happening.
He's a fashion designer.
Right? He gets her all worked up while he's putting this article of clothing on her. But they manage to leave the bedroom and they go to the dining room.
Why? Like, if she's worked up, why not slate her lust? Fill her up.
Keep her filled always. Filled more often than not filled, please. So as soon as they walk into the dining room next door, two nymphs bring in what essentially sounds like a charcuterie spread of cheeses and meats and fruits and nuts. And Mint comes in to tell Hades he has a full day. And Hades tells her to clear his morning, and she tells him it's already 11. I did like that part. The part I liked. Hades fills a plate, but Persephone says that she only drinks coffee for breakfast, which, like,
but it's almost lunchtime.
I know, it's 11. It's not breakfast time. I also only drink coffee in the morning and then I eat lunch as my first meal. But I'm like, she didn't eat supper last night at all. And now it's 11 o'clock. It's not even breakfast time. And she's just going to have a coffee. Is she going to pass out later from like hunger? Anyway. But he gets her a coffee and he calls her darling in front of the nymphs and in front of Minth. And she can tell that they don't like it.
Screw them.
Yeah. He asks what Persephone has planned for the day. And she says she needs to finish her article about him.
Yeah.
Which is like so shitty. Hades tells Minth that he'll be along shortly, but asks her to leave. And obviously the nymphs too. And he asks Persephone what she's going to write about. And she asks him if she can interview some souls. And I just feel like this is morally not okay to interview souls for a paper. Like, it just seems wrong. Like, the loved ones can't see the people they love in the underworld, but he's going to let her interview souls just because she got in her head that she wants to.
Yeah, because she's Persephone and she's going to be queen of the underworld. Didn't you hear what all the souls said? And she's wearing the crown. So she's obviously going to be queen of the underworld, so she can do whatever she wants.
It's true. She says that she doesn't want to write about the gala or the Halcyon project. Halcyon. So she doesn't want to write about that because everyone else, every other paper is going to be writing about it, which is so dumb because, like, he said during the gala that he did it for her. Yeah. So obviously people are going to be interested in what she has to say about it because like, that's what I'd want to read. Like, I wouldn't want to read anyone else's take on it. But anyway, that's not what she wants to do.
Yeah.
He's obviously annoyed about her writing about him, like you would be. But she says she has to because it's her assignment. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is an internship. I don't even know if she's getting paid. She's getting sexually harassed by one of her coworkers. And she cares that much about her job. Yeah. That isn't even a job. It's an internship. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And anyway, Hades tells her that she never should have written about him in the first place because he told her not to.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then she's about to deny that she did it because Adonis punished it. But then she's like, she doesn't want Hades to know that. And she wants to deal with Adonis herself. Why though?
Like, I can see, like, not wanting to, like, I feel like she's already leaning on her mother for magic. Like, I can see why she wouldn't want to lean on Hades to, like, protect her honor or do anything like that because she wants to, like, deal with it herself. I see that. But I don't know. It caused such a rift between them. I feel like she should have told him.
Yes, I agree. He does kind of laugh it off and he admits he shouldn't be surprised that she did write about him, which I'm like impressed that he's taking this side. Yeah. Because he basically just, I don't know. Anyway. And then he tells her he could kiss her lips all day. And she invites him to do just that.
Oh. So they definitely have sex again.
I'm assuming.
Yikes.
Yeah. That is our week this week. It was a very laughy one, I think.
And very sexy.
Very sexy, very virgin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to get in touch with us, if you have any thoughts on virgin sex or anything else you heard in our episodes, or if you have any book suggestions, you can email us at coffeeandcoread@gmail.com. And be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Coffee and Co-Read.
So next week is the end. It's been a super fast month, it feels like. But next week we will be finishing A Touch of Darkness with chapters 20-26. So make sure to follow along. And if you're enjoying our little chats, don't forget to follow, rate, and review wherever you find content. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you on the next page.